So are you one of the unlucky many that missed out on some of the pre-orders? Are you one of those that's having some hopelessness and despair and feel like you're going to have to pay double, triple for some of these figures coming up? Well, lucky for you, this is Mike here at the Tidarium Hangar. I'm going to give you some tips and tricks if you missed the pre-order, how you might be able to get one of these figures for a normal price. Talk about all this coming up. So if you're anything like me, you have probably noticed that a lot of these places are sold out of, most specifically, all of the Fans Toys pre-orders, more or less. And this is becoming a trend. Now there's a few reasons why they sell out so fast. Just even the pre-orders sell out fast. And it wasn't like this several years ago. One reason that they sell out so fast is because there's more people collecting, more demand, more interest, and of course, more interest in Fans Toys, so they sell very quickly. One of the other reasons that these pre-orders sell out very fast is because people are buying 2, 3, 4, 5, I don't know how many they're buying. People are buying extras because they anticipate price going up, and then, well, I guess you could say they're scalping them. That happens. And some people are buying multiples so they can display in both modes. Some people are buying multiples in case down the road they want to display them in both modes. Maybe they keep one in a box and they go, well, now I want to display in both modes, or maybe I want to sell it. There's so many reasons. It was unheard of for people to buy multiples 5 years ago. Nowadays, it's becoming more and more common. And one thing that I learned, and it took me a while to learn this lesson, is that a lot of times you could get a pre-order bonus or a better price if you pre-order it than waiting for it to come out. Now, I was the guy trying to scoop everything up on a sale, but not everything hits sale. In fact, most of these won't hit a sale. They will actually just get more expensive as time goes on. So my first tip and trick that I'm going to share today is if you missed the pre-order, you want to just keep checking your third-party distributor of choice. So you just keep going to, say, Show Z, and check and see if maybe something came back in stock. There are a lot of reasons and a lot of ways that the pre-order just comes back in stock. But I have to admit, it doesn't happen as often as Show Z because they have the lowest price. People get their pre-order, they don't want to let that go because they have usually the best price. But most of the time. And nobody wants to let that go. Now, other places, of course, they have tax on it and a higher price. You start looking at all that, then it's looking less desirable, and they might want to give up that pre-order. I personally just did this with this RoboCop at Big Bad Toy Store. They had it in stock, and then I did a little news segment about it, and I was like, I'm gonna go ahead and order one, but then I noticed it was sold out, and I just left the tab open for a few days, checked it 4 or 5 times a day, and boom, it came back in stock. Now, for whatever reason, people think they're going to be getting $40 to $60 out of this thing. It's just a 4-inch figure. I don't think it's going to be worth a whole lot. That's why I don't want to pay a whole lot for it, and I wasn't going to get it if I didn't get it for retail. Next up, my second tip is you want to check eBay, but timing is everything for eBay. So right now, if you look at Magnum, and I've got Magnum up on the screen to show you, people are just getting it in. There's only 18 total on eBay for Fans Toys Magnum. So if you were to try to buy it off of eBay right now, you're going to spend too much. You need to wait until everybody that plans on selling these on eBay are fighting with each other, and there's 100 of them on eBay. Then you could get closer to a better price. So the timing on eBay is a big deal. And there's only a short window in there when you have 100 people trying to sell one. The price goes down, people accept the better offer, they know that they have a lot of competition. And then after a couple of months, the prices go back to looking like this. Small dip and then back up to high. I do want to say a few things about buying on eBay. And the first thing I want to say when you buy on eBay, never pre-order anything. When it says pre-order this figure or whatever, no, don't ever use eBay for a pre-order. I never would do that myself, so I would never recommend that. There's a lot of things that sometimes it could take longer for the third-party item to come out. eBay only allows you like 3 months for you to get your money back on it. PayPal is a little bit longer, but there's a kind of a divorce going on between eBay and PayPal. And PayPal, you can't really talk to anybody anymore, So it's getting harder and harder and harder to resolve situations through PayPal. So just avoid those situations. Pre-ordering through eBay, bad idea. So number 3 would be to go through one of these Facebook sellers. You find in the groups. One of the things about this is if you're buying in the groups from a Facebook seller, you are doing a PayPal transaction most of the time. That's how it goes. You do want to get some sort of credentials from this person. You want to make sure that they're legitimate, and that is something that if you're in a group, there should be many people that could vouch for someone that sells in a group. Usually when they post that they're selling it, just look at the comments, 15-20 people saying definitely a good person, I've done business, and that is, but you're always going to take a risk. And so with that, I would never ever do friends and family in a Facebook deal on my first deal with somebody. So if you've never dealt with somebody before, goods and services, demand it. Even if they make you pay the extra 4%. Anybody who says, I will not deal with you if you want to do goods and services, I'm not going to sell to you, that's a giant red flag. I mean, anyone that's reasonable to say, okay, the first time, let's do goods and services. After that, I would like to do friends and family. You establish a working relationship that could work. But I still am very wary of the friends and family. Now, I do want to point out that sellers in Facebook are going to be a little bit more expensive. They do not have the economies of scales for ordering 400 figures. They usually have 20, 30 figures. It's not a massive amount that they each get, but there's a lot of these individual Facebook sellers. So that kind of makes up the numbers right there. There's a lot more Facebook sellers than there are official third-party distributors. And with that, there's quite a few out there. And so the next tip that I have would be last resort. Try one of these other online, smaller distributors, hole in the wall kind of things. This IU collection. Now I'm not recommending this company or this page or whatever, but I've ordered from them before and got what I wanted. I'm not saying that I'm supporting them or I'm not affiliated with them or anything. But I do want to point out that somebody sent me, hey, you can go and you can get this from this site. I gave it a shot. And so I'm going to give you some of my expectations when I do this. And this is, of course, in my opinion, one of the last resorts. But then, of course, when you order from one of these, they may be one of your regular places to get stuff from. So with that, you want to make sure they take PayPal. And when I ordered from this site, it did take PayPal. So they took PayPal, so I was protected. I felt pretty good. And so with that, I got what I ordered. And again, another recommendation from somebody else saying, check this one out, and I'm not affiliated with this one. But there's the recommendation way, and then there's another way. You just type in a search into the search engine for whatever you're looking for, and you'll see that after the 12 or 15 major paid sponsors, you're going to see these smaller ones. And so let's say if you type in a Fans Toys or whatever, or if you type in a Voltron, then stuff like this starts to show up. These sites start to show up. And they're legitimate. I actually ordered from them. And of course, like I said, you want to use your PayPal on it. If they don't accept PayPal, I'd be very scared and weary of using them. And so with that, you may find another kind of hole-in-the-wall startup that works. But out of 5 random ones I've done, 2 burned me. I got burned twice. I got my money back through PayPal, but I got burned twice. That means 3 out of 5 that I didn't know anything about did well. Okay, so now I want to share a quick mainline story about how I got my hands on the Seeker set. It seems like it's really hard to get these, and if you're anything like me and you live in a town that only has one Target, my toy lady said that she checked for someone else and they will not get this set in. Not all Targets were going to get it. Now I would think an exclusive, every Target should get some. I know that the Seeker 3-pack, the Rainmakers made it to mine, but I was told this one. So I took a little road trip and I went to the largest nearby city, and what I found was the first one I went to did not have a label on the shelf at all. And so there was no space for it, and I got to thinking, well, maybe this Target's not going to get one either. And so I went to the next Target, and they had a label on the shelf, and so I'm going to show a picture of the label. So I went to the guy that was stocking, asked him if he could scan the label, give me some information about it. He said that they sold their last one the previous day, and that they had 4 in stock down the street, and then 1 in stock up the street, or something along those lines. So I went back to the one that he says has them, and had them scan my picture of the label. They went to the back, they found one, and they brought it out to me. So with that, it was a bit of a hassle and a bit of running around, but I was able to get it. It was worthwhile. I made a day of it. It was a lot of fun. Started out being a little frustrating though. So here's my point: is a lot of people may not have any clue what you're talking about. You need to have some tangible, something they can scan when you're going there asking questions about something. And the BrickSeek doesn't always work. The numbers aren't right. The kid was scanned it, told me there's 4 in another one. They only had 1. So a lot of things, a lot of the data that we have, it doesn't always work. But if you keep at it, you will find it. And lastly, I want to say there's a lot of great figures that are coming out. And I know a lot of people may think twice about whether or not they want to pre-order something or not pre-order something. And I say just pre-order it. You want to pre-order it someplace like, hey, Show Z lets you cancel your pre-orders when they come in if for whatever reason you can't pay for it. You get your $1, $2, $3 back in credit for the next thing you buy there. I think that's great. A couple of the other places aren't so easy if you want to cancel your pre-orders. And I'm hearing some rumors of a Fans Toys Sovereign reissue. I don't know if it's going to be an M or a straight up Sovereign or what all is going to be about it. I haven't actually seen pre-orders go up anywhere. I haven't missed it because I haven't seen it, and I haven't seen evidence that it's over, well, except for at the Chosen Prime has what it looks like. They might have that one coming as a Sovereign M. I don't know. I'd like to get a little more information about this whole reissue of Sovereign. But let me know what you think, if my tips and tricks were helpful. If you have some more and better tips and tricks on how to get these things at a good price if you missed the pre-order, put them in the comments below. Like, subscribe, and Tydirium Hanger out.